Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock. Let's go over what is happening to the stock, what we can expect moving forward and all that good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you do enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, etc., I do share my thoughts every single day the market is open with my members in my, obviously, YouTube membership section. The link to that is down below. It is the first link or sentence, if you will, in the description below the video. So check it out if you're interested for just $3 a month. Again, constantly sharing my thoughts as the market is trading every trading day. Or for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just said. So Tesla plus other stocks sometimes as well. You also get access to NVIDIA daily updates. But yeah, jumping into it, Tesla, unfortunately, well, okay, I don't want to use the word unfortunately, it is up 3%, but it did give back a fair amount of the gains, at least relative to the high of the day, closing at, we'll say, $426.50 per share, which compared to the market, Tesla, you can argue is honestly just kind of, I mean, at the end of the day, with how it closed, kind of relative to the market. Market for QQ up about 1.7%, so Tesla up about 3%. You know, you can argue is more or less in line with the market. Now, what does this mean moving forward? Well, we're in for a pretty interesting week next week. Monday is, of course, off, and I believe it's either Sunday or Monday. I forgot. Trump's inauguration, right? Elon's supposed to be there. So, you know, is it a sell the news event? Will we just pump on it? Like, who knows, right? It's tough. Now, my thoughts on the chart are as follows, right? I've been, I feel like pretty accurate on the chart for the most part, right? We've been nailing tops, bottoms, etc. We nailed this move up, right? We talked about how this was essentially just a massive bull flag, more or less, bull flag breakout, and then we came back to essentially retest it, etc., etc., etc. So far, so good, right? Now that's arguably still playing out, but there is a risk here, and unfortunately, the way Tesla closed today, I'm not gonna lie, like this, I'm not scared or whatever, I'm willing to admit that, yeah, based on how it specifically closed today, there's no obvious play in sight to me, right? The risk reward here is it very, very coin flip to me, right? It's very 50-50 right here where it closed, and I'll explain why. So the reason why there's a 50% chance pretty much that, it's still obviously bullish. And I still think overall is bullish. Actually, maybe I should make that a little bit more clear. I think it's overall still bullish. It's just the short-term movement is the part I'm not really sure about, because overall, I still think there's a relatively good chance that we're still making our way to 460. But I don't like the fact that, we pushed out and up out of this, new kind of slightly rising channel, and we couldn't close a daily candle above it, right? So, because we broke out of this bull flag, which obviously, is still something worth noting, of course, right? We had this nice little breakout retest, and arguably we should have had higher. That's kind of why, I still think the bullish thesis, if anything, actually is still stronger than the bearish thesis, right? If there even is one ultimately, because again, it's more short-term, obviously. Because again, we broke out of the bull flag, right? My first target was essentially the top of this Bollinger Band / 460, around there, give or take, of course. Not exactly 460 to the cent, but, around there. We haven't got there. I mean, we went to 440 today. It's pretty close, but, we haven't got there yet. The thing that's making me more concerned is the fact that, well, we're pretty much right in the middle of the Bollinger Band, right? We're not overbought, we're not oversold, we're just pretty much dead smack right in the middle, right? We retested that bull flag. We had that pump today. I did actually exit. I actually exited too early initially, but thankfully Tesla actually closed lower than I exited, so I feel a little bit better about that now. But nonetheless, we're kind of like in limbo land here, right? There's no obvious play in sight, because yes, we retest this bull flag, and yes, in theory, the move up should be next, but the risk here is the fact that short term, we could actually see one more move back down into, honestly, like low 400s, maybe even very high, like very high 300s, like 390 or something like that, right? Because of this channel, because we couldn't close above this channel, and technically speaking, because we're at the upper end of this channel, logically speaking, the next, theoretical move should be back down to the bottom, or at least close to the bottom of the channel, which, again, sometime next week can be just essentially another retest of this bull flag breakout, which also will roughly coincide with that bottom of the channel. But the thing is, like, I'm not super confident that's going to happen. Like, I don't have confidence in either direction right now, mainly because to me, it's kind of just in limbo land here. Like, yes, the stochastic is bullish. Yes, the MACD is close to flipping bullish, but it's not there just yet. RSI is not overbought, so RSI still has room up, which if it does come up here, obviously it will start getting overbought naturally. So to me, the main question right now is it a sell the news event and we make one more move back down to about 400 or like 390 or something like that for the one more retest bottom of the channel, and then we move up to 460? Or do we just go to 460 right away? Honestly, I don't know. I genuinely don't know, and that's why I exited my trade, because I don't see an obvious play here, right? Like here, it was a bit more obvious. We were towards the bottom of the end of the Bollinger Band, for instance, right? We're at the bottom end of, the market bias. We're holding a support. We had a very aggressive sell-off, right? Here was more obvious that I entered yesterday because it was just simply a bull flag retest. Okay, we most likely can continue off that. Now we had that continuation, a little bit of a weak close, not the close I wanted to see. We couldn't close above this, rising channel, and we're right in the middle of the Bollinger Bands. There's just no obvious move here, unfortunately, right? Sometimes it is like that. Not every single day. I'm not going to come in here every single day and be like, guys, this is what's going to happen tomorrow. Guaranteed 100%. This is the next move, man. I can read the market and I know every single move that's ever going to happen every single day and every single minute. No, sometimes, you'll have days like this and you'll have, situations like this where you kind of end in sort of the middle, the limbo land. And there's no obvious play, which is why patience is important sometimes. And in this case, I am being patient. Now, if it obviously rockets up, great. I still have my long-term shares. I'm not worried at all. And if it makes its way back down to about 400-ish, I view that as an opportunity. I personally will view that as an opportunity because I do believe that this will most likely still make its way higher. Now, one other thing that I want to mention, this is probably the more bearish perspective. This is what the bears are looking at, right? If you're a bear, this is where you're looking at it right now, right? You can make an argument that this move back down, that we had, this kind of massive bull flag correction, if you will, that we had, that we technically obviously broke out now. You can easily make an argument the fact that this move was just the move that we're experiencing now, this rally, is kind of like a dead catty bounce from this massive leg down that we experienced. That is an argument to be made, right? And the first target is very close to the high of today, which is at about $445 per share, which is the 620 Fibonacci level. And the second main target would be pretty much right around my 460 level, which is that 786 roughly Fibonacci level as well. So those are the two targets that, we still technically can hit to the upside, but that's where the bears will most likely start looking for pressure to begin, bringing the stock back down, one of these two levels. Again, we got pretty close to the first level today. Is that enough? I don't know. Hard to say, honestly, hard to say. But pretty damn close, right? Pretty damn close. So, yeah, unfortunately, some days it is like that, right? Some days I'm not going to be able to give you the, very obvious, like, yeah, I think it's looking good. Yeah, I think it's looking bad. I don't know. I generally don't know here. It's very hard to say. Now, the weekly, I will say the weekly, if we go to the weekly chart, is not looking too bad, actually. The weekly is a little bit more confidence inspiring. Again, like I mentioned, I don't know for short term. The weekly, though, is not looking bad. We are defending this 415-ish level, this massive area that was, of course, a massive area of supply. Now, demand, right? So far, so good. We're definitely holding that level, which is good. I like to see that. We closed above 415 on the week, which is good. And we're arguably printing a bullish engulfing candle on the weekly, where this week's candle pretty much engulfed the actual candle itself of last week. Now, the one thing I forget, maybe someone can correct me in the comments, is if the bullish engulfing candle has to engulf the full candle, including the wick, or just literally the candle itself, and not including the wick. Because if it's including the wick, then it's not a bullish engulfing candle. If it's just the actual candle part itself, then it is. I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure about that. But I still like the way it closed. I still like the overall weekly perspective here. I still think it's looking pretty decent on the candles. But like I said before, there is always a risk, right? There's always a risk because, the RSI is making a little bit of a potential bullish or bearish divergence. We have the stochastic still very well in overbought territories and crossed down to the bearish side and facing straight down, which is why, again, I'm not like, going head over heels, if you will, for just, buy the dip scenarios here on Tesla. I'm kind of, I wouldn't say I'm scalping it, but I'm not holding for very long either because a lot of people expect it to go much higher. I'm not super convinced. And this is looking a lot forward. This is going to be looking like potentially a month or so, even more, maybe forward, maybe 2 months even. So I still believe my 460 target is in play, right? A lot of people are probably expecting this to make its way higher, which it could. But one thing I'm kind of keeping an open mind for is this, and I mentioned this before and I'll reiterate it once again, that we do get this move to 460, but we get a massive rejection. I showed you the Fibonacci's, etc., right? Everyone gets bull trap because everyone's expecting it to go higher. We get a rejection, and then we get a massive sell-off all the way back down, somewhere to go around this kind of 360 level. I know it sounds crazy. It's $100 lower, but it could be a massive bull trap. But then here we'll have a massive bear trap. And from here, we'll rocket back up. And ultimately what we'll do instead is create a very large weekly bull flag. And why do I care about that? Why do I think that that's going to happen? I'm not just kind of saying that for the memes, essentially, right? I have a reason why again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. And the reason for that is a few things, really. Number one, like I said, the stochastic is, still looking not ideal really for like a substantial move higher. It could. I mean, NVIDIA, has had many times where on the stochastic, it just defied all physics essentially. But, you know, that's a warning sign, I guess you can say. But one thing I don't like, and I've said this many times, is, you know, I tend to be kind of a mean reversion trader. I like trading the mean reversion, which essentially means when the stock on its specific time frame, in this case the weekly, is too far away from the mean, you know, I expect it to at some point either make its way back down there, or it's not really going to go anywhere too crazy, and essentially that mean reversion line, in this case the middle line of the Bollinger Band or the market bias, whatever, play catch up to us, and we sort of maybe meet in the middle, right? And that's kind of what I'm expecting right now, because you can see on the weekly chart, you know, the middle line of the Bollinger Band is sitting all the way down here at about $321 per share, and we're all the way up here, right? And again, you know, if we zoom out, every single time we've been too far away, we've snapped back, too far away, snap back, too far away, snap back, too far away, we snap. Like, the point is like you always snap back. And I've said this many times, and I'll just, you know, I'll keep reiterating it. You ultimately, you always at some point snap back, or at the very least the stock doesn't really do a whole lot. It doesn't rocket up like everyone expected to do, and we patiently wait, play the waiting game as the middle line essentially plays catch up to us instead. One of those two things will happen. I don't know which one, but until one of those things happen, and until the weekly officially catches back up to this middle line of the Bollinger Band, and we do quote unquote revert back to the mean, that's when I can start being a little bit more, I don't know, talking about maybe, you know, levels higher than 460, I guess, right? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Everyone expects Tesla to go like to, you know, well into the 500s, essentially post inauguration. I'm unfortunately not in that camp. I think 460 is all we're going to get. Again, I could be wrong. I want to make that very clear. I'm just one dude, right? I'm just like you guys. I'm just a retail trader trying to find my way in the market as well. I could be completely wrong. But because we're so far away from the mean reversion, I can't imagine us making our way that much higher and making our way that much farther away from the middle, you know, mean reversion line, if you will, right away, like right here, right now. I think it'll take time, or we'll come back down into it. Whichever one comes first, I don't know. But that's kind of my overall perspective on just the overall picture that Tesla's drawing here. So let's see how it plays out. Let's see if this ends up being a sell the news event. Do we get that rally to 460, right? Let's see how this plays out ultimately. But on the larger time frame, that's kind of my perspective right now. Again, could be wrong. I want to make that clear. Could be completely wrong. But that's what I believe. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. Ladies and gentlemen, in terms of options flow, let's take a quick look at options flow on Tesla stock. What is happening on Tesla stock? Absolutely phenomenal options flow. So clearly people are expecting 450 to 460. You can see 450 strikes coming in for next week, I believe. Yeah, this is all calls for next week. So yeah, we could still get that move. Like I said, that move to 460 is still absolutely on the tables. It's, you know, absolutely a possibility, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not fully disregarding it. I'm just not as convinced specifically from this level, right? Now, if you're holding it from down here, you're kind of chilling regardless. But, you know, if you're kind of in and out, like I am at the moment, at least, you know, this is not a level that I would personally just buy and hope, because you're, again, to me, this is a coin flip. It can easily go up as it can go down, as kind of the meme is with, you know, technical analysis. But in this case, it's just kind of, it is what it is, right? There's no obvious risk reward, because down here, better risk reward. Up here, less risk reward for the upside. In the middle, who the hell knows ultimately. But nonetheless, the bulls are clearly stepping in. They clearly expect Tesla to make its way back up early next week. So let's see. Again, don't forget, Monday is closed. And confirmed bullish flow, almost 40 million on Tesla, which is pretty respectable. So yeah, the bulls are stepping in. They believe Tesla is going to make its way up post inauguration. Again, I think there's a higher chance that it does than it does not, and make its way to 460. It's just, it's not high enough for me to have, you know, any real true confidence to really place like a, you know, even a substantial trade, but even like a smaller end trade, which is why my long-term account exists. So if it does, hey, great. I'm still making money on it. But yeah, anyway, that's my perspective. Sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes the next move isn't so obvious, and you wait until it is more obvious for you. And that's kind of the situation I find myself in. So either way, thanks for watching. See you on Tuesday. Peace.